Hello, welcome to another episode of the Ryan Elly Show.
Hey.
So today we're going to talk about body image. It's something that's been it's very, very prevalent in the fitness industry. Something we felt like we really wanted to try and touch on. It's close to our heart, but before that we've had an absolute carnage week.
I'm actually sat here with my legs crossed and my quads are actually screaming at me. And I feel like I have to sit like this, but it's really hurting me.
We did a team builder exercise. We went to High Rocks. If you've not heard of High Rocks, have a little search of it. Workouts, and it literally battered us all as a team. But it was quite a laugh. And anyway, the vibes have been good since it, but it wiped us for the day on Saturday, didn't it?
I was really kind of like so shocked about, obviously physically understood, because we all literally push ourselves to new limits, like physically from a fitness element and the strength element. But I think mentally I wasn't prepared. I think because that mental toughness that kind of the barriers that you go through mentally, it literally drained me.
Yes, I think with it, part of it was because it's a completely different type of fitness. And this is something that we talk to a lot to people when they first start training with us, is like, if you're new to weights, you've never lifted weights before, doing the most basic weights well, you're going to ache. You're going to be sore. It's like if me and Elly went and started playing football or tennis, where you're moving in a different direction to what you used to, we're going to feel it. So it's being aware of that. But then we were all we wanted to do was veg on the sofa all weekend, and bless, Neve is wild at the moment, would you say? Very
Have we ever talked
energy.
About what the kids are like, their personalities?
No, they're
they're both mini Ryans. Like, definitely. Like, I have literally got my work cut out. But like Ryan was saying, we didn't want to move a muscle. I closed my activity rings. I was like ready. Yes, going to chill. Were we able to chill out?
Absolutely not. So Neve, bless her, from the moment we got home, can we go for a 3K run? Can we go for a 3K run? Like, she's 5. Like, how does she not 3K is, and why does she want to go for a run? And we've always made this pact, within our team, our family, but we call ourselves a team, not to discourage exercise or activity where possible. So it was like, do you know what? We can't discourage it. We're like, we put it off. Anyway, so we went out. We ended up doing 2K, and she smashed it, bless her, didn't she?
So she was a bit whingy all the way through. And in my head, all I'm thinking of, you wanted to do this. My legs can't do this.
You weren't just thinking it, you were saying it.
I was like, I can't believe we're doing this. And you're whinging. I didn't want to do it. But we did it. And I love the fact that, this is on exercise, and relationship exercise is definitely something that's really important. That it's healthy for everyone, but especially with our girls and stuff, I want it to be viewed as something that they want to do and that they enjoy to do. So the fact is, we're getting these little fun runs is
kind of cute.
Just not when I'm suffering after doing an hour of High Rocks.
So yeah, we were part of that. What we thought that'd be helpful is it just shows the power of when you're doing stuff kids are watching, even when you might not necessarily feel like they're watching, which sort of brings us closely onto the whole body image topic. And I think that, again, sometimes we want to touch on topics that can be sensitive, because we feel like it's good to get different perspective on them. But it is important that before we go too much into depth, we're not psychologists, but what we do have is a wealth of experience in terms of helping people with body image, in terms of helping people improve their relationships with themselves, that we hope that we can give some of you an insight into us, because it's not something we've always found easy, but also share some strategies and tools that will arm you to move forwards in a way where you're not pulling yourself apart.
Yeah, and I think also what's important is kind of me and Ryan are viewed as relatable. Those who may not know a lot about me and you from years ago may not realise that we have had our own struggles with body image, and I think that's why it's really important to share it, so we can be relatable. We try and be as honest as we can be, and also then be kind of showing that you can get out of it. There is light at the end of the tunnel if you are someone who has been suffering.
Yeah, because I think that I would say a vast majority of the people who contact us, join our program, have a body image related goals, should we say, whether it be shape change, whether it be weight loss, whether it be muscle mass, body fat
Gain,
percentage, something like that, there is some sort of body image related goal. And, and we never want to, what's the word? Invalidate? We never want to invalidate those goals, but what we want to try and do is help gain a healthy perspective if you are in pursuit of that.
Yeah, and it's the thing is though with like body image goal where it's based on how you see yourself, it can be very difficult to measure in terms of, are you progressing, especially if you're doing it by yourself, because if you are someone who is putting themselves down, or you're not feeling so positive about your own body image, or there's like a breakdown, it's not as healthy as it should be, you're going to view yourself so differently to perhaps what your reality actually is. Me and you talk about body dysmorphia, and it's something that, we talk about whether it's something relatable more to me.
Yeah.
I guess maybe us both, but definitely it's been a conversation that we've been having more recently. And so that can really take over. So you're never really seeing, and that's often when we're talking to our clients about goals. Obviously, like Ryan said, we want to always value a self-image goal, but what we will also have is other goals in terms of like themselves, how they're feeling, lifestyle related, the process goals, because those can be measured, and it takes away the focus of just all about how you look.
Yeah, and I think that sort of touches on a very important subject of almost like being aware that your perspective is always going to be your reality. And it's like, for example, when Elly is having her lower body confidence days, if you like, Elly will pull herself apart. To me, I know physically she looks not much different than she did a day before, 2 days before, whatever, when she was feeling great. But at the same time, how she feels is very valid. And it's sometimes trying to help, like if you're someone who's around that, is not invalidating the person's thoughts or feelings, but perhaps helping them gain a different perspective. And that's why sometimes I like to tell you, but if you've taken a step out and recognise, really, we all know, most of us will know, our body doesn't drastically change in a couple of days. It might change over time, and that's okay, but we need to be aware of it.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think I've recognised, and this may be relatable, I've been having a conversation with Benita from our team, is talking about, from a female perspective, like the hormonal changes that we go through over the course of the month, is that I'm starting to recognise that after I have ovulated, right before my cycle is due, is probably my most self-conscious point in terms of like, I just don't feel good in myself.
I notice that too.
You notice that too?
Yeah, no, I do. No, but do. Not.
But
no, I mean, I notice it in you. Not. Yeah.
So that's where it can be really helpful, and we always talk about understanding and recognizing more about your body. Get used to, because what that then helps me is I'm able to ask the questions. Okay, this happens every month. Like. Yes. There's a trend here.
It sort of draws back to the track, assess and adapt sort of thing that we talk about in everything we do. Track how you're feeling, what you're thinking, and then look at it. You can take all these different metrics to assess it as well. So it can be, take progress photos, not to pull yourself apart, not to say you need to make loads of progress, but sometimes you might put two photos side by side, there's not much difference, but actually what it does show you is you haven't gone as backwards as you might be telling yourself you have done. That can make a huge difference. And then all it is right, how do I adapt that and focus on a positive attribute in yourself? Or how can I flip the focus from I'm really unhappy, I'm feeling my body, it looks terrible, whatever it might be, to, okay, well, what am I going to do to help myself feel better? It's not actually going to make you look visually different straight away overnight, and we'd be lying to try and pretend it does. But what we can do is do something that we know is going to help us feel better mentally, and that could be nourishing your body with healthy, balanced foods. Because 99% of the time we talk to people who've pulled themselves apart, they go and make poor decisions with their food and think like they hit the fuck it button and don't want to, they lower their exercise and make poor decisions with food. So it's sometimes what that can do is bring you back to the drawing board to go again.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like, I like to question it, and this has taken, I haven't always followed this, but when you're looking to feel good in yourself, and maybe you are working towards a self-image goal because that's a goal, that's something that's important to you want to look, you want to feel better, you want to grow in your confidence, and then you're having perhaps a period where you're not feeling good at yourself, so you pick yourself apart and you're saying, maybe not very nice things about yourself, what are you having to gain out of putting yourself down? That's not going to help you in any way. And if anything, it's going to continue to be destructive and impact you. Maybe then you're not going to do your workout, or like Ryan said, you're going to have the fuck it mode where you won't bother with the nutrition that was probably making you feel good in terms of like your digestion, energy levels, and overall really good factor. So it's kind of like asking the question, is rather than putting yourself down, whether you're happy or not with the progress that you have made so far, asking the question, well, what can I do in order to continue to help myself? Because that's what we should be doing. We should be looking at ways that we can help ourselves feel really good. And putting yourself down is going to do nothing but help you. And I feel a bit hypocritical to say that, because I'm still guilty of doing that. But I have found that I recognise when I am doing it, and I try to quickly snap out of it, because it's really important. Obviously, I have 2 daughters. I've gone through a period of my life, from my teenagers to my 20s, 30s, where I have lived such a long time of my life putting myself down. I would dread it and hate it if my kids did the same.
Yeah, because we have seen that with Aoife May, particularly like back a few years back when we were into bodybuilding, and it's all about aesthetics, and it's not knocking the bodybuilding scene, but it doesn't matter how strong you are, it doesn't matter how fit you are, it's how you look on stage. And that at that time, that was our goal, that was our focus, that was our lifestyle. But then we noticed, like, Aoife May was weighing herself, she was hopping on a scale, she doesn't know what it meant, she was only a toddler, she was a toddler. And but you start to realise how kids do pick up on it. It's even like the Elly will get in front of the mirror and try 10 different outfits on. I now see that in both our children doing it. And, it is one of those things. But I do think it's important as well now that we address like social media, because I think that has a large responsibility in terms of why we perceive ourselves as perhaps having an inferior body shape to a vast majority when it's not real life. If you were to look on social media, particularly if you're somebody, and if you don't know much about the way the algorithm works, like I'm not an expert on it, but the more you watch a specific topic, even if you're not liking it, interacting with it, the more of that topic it will feed you, because these apps want you to stay on there. So if you're sat there watching this fitness professional, or you're watching this model try on her 15 outfits from Zara because that's what she's selling that day, you have to. I listen to Elly watching her scrolls, but they are like, half jokingly, but they are paid to be in shape. That's part of their job. If they weren't in what most people perceive as a desirable body shape, their income would drop, they would suffer. And it's one of those things that recognizing that if you're a real person, everyday person, that's not attainable for many, and you just want to almost take a step out and look at, actually, let's just focus on me, focus on my journey, and stop comparing myself to someone else's highlight reel. Because, me and Elly will take 10 photos together, we're only putting the best one up there, and that's us. We don't filter them. We try and be as real as we can be, but at the same time, we ain't putting our shit angles up. We're very transparent about that. But it is one of those things to be aware of. What you're seeing on social media is always going to be someone's preferred lighting, preferred angle, preferred body position, and that's human nature. No one wants to put their worst things up. So don't compare someone's best against your worst.
Well, like they say, a comparison is the thief of joy, and it really is. Like you, like if you're like feeling like it's always this thing as well. Like you're having a really good week, you're feeling really good, but it's always the case of then you go and weigh yourself, and it's like boom, like we just allow that number that perhaps that we were wanting to see a different number. We're not happy with the number, and it takes away that joy of how you were initially feeling before you got on the scales. I was having a conversation, Brian probably doesn't even know this, I was having a conversation with Benita just before, because we often talk about body image and things like that. We try to be as open as we can be amongst the team, and I haven't weighed myself for about a month, which is actually really positive for me, because I can see how it was kind of not controlling me, because like to me it's a number, but I definitely hold hold a little bit of emotion towards it. And my goals admittedly at the moment are performance related with me during the triathlon training, so I'm eating more, I definitely feel as if my body composition is changing and I'm feeling more athletic. I'm definitely consuming more because I have to, because rather than my goal being about I'm running because I want to lose body fat, I'm doing my running goals because I want to get quicker with my times. I have to, eat for that. So that's why for me, like, it's really helped me in that way, work on my relationship. And I'm continually learning to work on my body image. I know that it's not always amazing as I wish it could be, and I'm sharing that open and honestly. But I do have ways to help other people, just like I've helped myself over the years.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of the time we actually do that with clients, don't we? It's like, look, we're not invalidating the body related or body image related goal, but what we want to do over time is flip the focus to a performance related goal, or to a process related goal, or how we're feeling related goal. And any body related sort of progress will happen as a byproduct of it, and you're not then dictated by a clothing size. We've had it many times with clients where they've been feeling really, really good about themselves. They've been out on a night out and somebody's caught a poor angle of them, and they've pulled themselves apart from that. And I'm like, well, how did you feel before that photo was taken? So how literally it is. It's like they could be side on, they're not even looking at the camera, they're slouched. I slouch on this. And that when we first watched the podcast, the first episode, I was like, I'm slouched, I need to sit upright. Elly sits upright. It's easily done. Then you start to pull yourself apart and then be negative, when actually what we need to do is remember all of these things. Okay, I wasn't prepared for the photo for a start. Everyone has a bad angle, literally. Even the people you're seeing on cover photos, they don't look like that all year round. That's another important fact to remember, is everybody's body is changing. And actually, I would argue a lot of the ones that we see that are extremely, extremely lean, like, there's a lot of respect to how much effort goes into it, but it's not overly healthy. The body does need body fat. The body is going to have different body shapes. We can't all be one size. We can't all be one shape, and that's something that we should be embracing and seeing more of, as opposed to just seeing all the men, tiny waist, broad shoulders, big chest, all the women, straight up, straight down. I think we need to be seeing and are being aware that actually we're all built slightly differently. And I think for women even more so, their body shape changes even as adults based on if they're having children or not. All these different factors can sometimes impact their body shape, not just whilst they're pregnant, not just whilst they're on their period, but for life. It does change the body. So yeah, I think that we need to be more aware of what we're watching, what we're seeing, and also how we're pulling ourselves apart.
Yeah, and I think, like, we've talked about this before, is, we talk about training the muscles, legs, upper body, we train it, over time. The same thing we should be doing to, like, our brains is, training our brain, because if we're continually used and it's become habitual to pick yourself apart, where if you wake up in the morning and you're constantly looking at your faults, of course that's all you're going to see. But how about we turn it around and we start to, and yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable, just like how doing your first workout is going to feel uncomfortable, but start finding something like a positive affirmation about yourself, something that you do like, something that you're going to do, so it's going to help improve your confidence. We need to start looking at things that are actually going to help elevate your mood, rather than put your mood down. And positive affirmation could be something that is uncomfortable at first, but you're writing it down because we're getting that connection. And what's most important is that you start to believe what you're writing.
100%. Love that. But I think that's a powerful tool, and I think that affirmations is something that's so underrated, and we do talk so much about how, like, the mind leads the body, because if you're constantly putting yourself down, you're under more stress, then your body doesn't respond anyway, and it starts this vicious cycle. Another thing that can be helpful is just becoming aware of, like, who you're surrounding yourself with, who you're following, what you're doing with your day-to-day activities, because sometimes, whether we like it or not, people may not be productive or positive for our emotional, mental well-being, particularly if body image is a thing. Some people are a lot more, I don't want to say obsessive, some people are more obsessive about it, but also if you're online comparing yourself to people that every time you're seeing them it's triggering you, unfollow them or mute them or hide them, because you're not going to win that battle. That person is doing it for their own reasons. It's not knocking them. They're just doing what's right for them. But you have to learn to start protecting yourself, because once you let someone into what's going on up here, it's very difficult to get them out.
Yeah, you don't need something externally putting yourself down if you're already doing it to yourself internally. We need to find our surroundings, our environment that's going to help support you, going to lift you, and that's what's really important. And it's like, asking the question, when did you last give yourself a compliment? It's little things like that, and it's probably, in all fairness, I can't think of the last time I gave myself a compliment. You've been putting yourself down a lot lately with your eyes and things.
Right, now they're going to zoom into my eyes.
But it's
so I've had this issue with my eyes for a while, and they're puffy. I've been to the doctors a few times.
It's got hay fever.
Don't know what the issue is. I've been taking antihistamines. It's not going down. I've now got this eye stuff. Every photo we get, Elly zooms in.
Don't zoom in.
Are your eyes open? So if you're watching this thinking, has he fell asleep? No, my eyes have been open all the way through. But yeah, it's easily done.
It's got to you.
What were we talking about though?
About giving yourself a compliment. When do you give yourself?
I do. I think for me, like I compliment myself. Yeah, I think internally I do, because I always take a step out, and like this is where we talk differently about how I do think men are slightly different to women anyway. But I recognise that actually, I know I'm in better shape than 80-90% of blokes my age, so I give myself credit for that, because I've worked hard. It's not luck. I know that I've been very committed to my training my whole life. I'm nourishing my body, I'm active, blah, blah, blah. So I do find it a lot easier. I also think it helps that I'm not really fussed what other people think. I very rarely will ask for someone else's opinion on what I look like or what I'm wearing or what I'm doing, versus Elly is probably the opposite to that, in the way of you do worry how you look and what people think.
Yeah, I think I don't even know how to describe it. Kind of like, I think like through my childhood going into the 20s, there's always been, not now, but always had been a someone or something that was critiquing me. So I became so accustomed to kind of feeling like I wasn't good enough, that then it became I was doing the critiquing on myself, and that then became like, well, because I've been with you for so long, you've always been so complimentary to me, and it's amazing, and I love that. Thank you. But
oh, we're cute, aren't we?
But then what was happening is like, I think I'm so used to having that something that's going to put myself down, that I think like I probably do ask you, does this look alright? Because I'm so used to being told it's not, and I've been that person putting myself down.
Yeah. And I always say to you, don't need external validation. And it's something that we're working on at the moment with, even like, for example, for May, she's getting really good at her swimming and she's very competitive. We can already see she's starting to get slight swimmer shoulders. And it's like, to me, it's I see that as like, she's a strong, independent girl that like, she's going to be strong, athletic. But that worries Elly, because Elly knows that when she got to her teenage years as a swimmer herself back then, that was a concern.
Well, yeah, I remember being in junior school, going to this amazing shop like in town. It was like the best shop that you would go, like you're on the street and you today, and being told by the shop assistant that I can't shop there because I'm so big upper body. And when you're little, you kind of like sort of question, well, what do you mean? You don't really know what that means. And then obviously,
plays in mind.
Yeah, I love swimming. Like, it was such a big part to my childhood with the competitions. But yeah, like naturally my body grew with that, and I had broad shoulders. But then to be told, when you're already noticing your subconscious, your body has changed from puberty, but then when you're getting like boys telling you that you're built like a man, and then when you're going into your 20s and you're going out night clubbing, and then you're getting men telling you that gee, wow, look how broad you are. I thought you were a man. Like, I grew my hair from when I was like 20. My hair is still long to cover my shoulders, and that's like, although like I'm over it, but that still plays a part. Yeah. And like I still like, I always,
you don't want that free for me.
Yeah, I dread, like I think about cutting my hair, but then like it's my comfort blanket, and I just don't want, as a protection, I just don't want Eve May to go through that, because I see her swim. She's amazing at swimming. Like, she's got a beautiful stroke, and I want her to do really well with it. It's just kind of, I feel like that protection of her, I don't want her to suffer, because that damaged a lot of my kind of self-confidence and was the reason why my body image became how it was.
Yeah, and it took a long time for you to even get to where you're at now.
Yeah.
But I do think we should touch on it. It's not all doom and gloom with it, because I do think
No.
that that's changing in terms
Yeah.
of now we are seeing, like, we are seeing younger men and women, particularly we're seeing more younger women getting into lifting weights, and they're looking for that
building
shape.
Yeah.
But it's important, again, it's done with a healthy manner, because the female body, even from a young age, you're nourishing your body and priming it to be able to carry a child. And sometimes when you're putting your body through too much stress to strive for this ultra lean body shape that you've seen someone online get, it's about recognizing, is it healthy longer term? And that's something that we really want to try and promote, because it is a body fat, particularly for women, having a little bit more body fat is healthy. Women shouldn't be like sub 10% body fat, most of them. Of course, there'll be a few genetically that are built that way. Mm-hmm. However, a vast majority of women, having a bit of body fat is the most natural thing in the world.
I think education's really important, and obviously we don't want to kind of go too sciencey, but I think with everything, what was it, the power of education? No, what's the saying? Power?
I don't know.
Oh, well, that was a flop. But like the power of knowledge.
Yeah.
Power of knowledge, is that right?
Yeah.
Can actually be really helpful especially with situations with like body image and understanding what is healthy, what's not healthy in terms of, even for females, from your menstrual cycle to childbearing, to hormone regulation, to mental health. It's understanding like the costs of a goal. Like, is it realistic? Is it going to benefit you? Is it going to impact work? Your relationships? Because the truth is, like, body image and things, it's not just about, you may think it's just about what you look like, but it's not. There's so much more to it, and the emotional and mental side of it can be really impacting.
Yeah, so I think sort of just summarising it from where we're at now is, if you're somebody who does suffer a little bit with any form of like body image related concerns, is first and foremost, don't invalidate it. Mm-hmm. They are, if you have thoughts and feelings, they are 100% valid. But what we want to do is get used to practicing them, questioning them, don't we? I think that don't just take them as gospel, because thoughts, like Elly said, I think one of our first podcasts, and it's thoughts become things, that we want to make sure that we're continually questioning them, because reality is you're picking your flaws apart. Yeah,
it's like that, training your mind to actually be beneficial for you.
Yeah.
And actually, is it your reality? It's so easy to kind of pick yourself apart, but you're not benefiting from it.
Yeah, and another thing that I do think, again, can be helpful is recognize it's okay to have like a body image concern from a healthy perspective. Mm-hmm. If you're somebody that you're watching this, you are carrying a lot of extra weight, and it's having an adverse effect on your physical and mental health. It's having an impact on your sex life. It's having an impact on your energy levels. It's having an impact on your relationship with your children. Then that's a reason to want to improve it. But we would always try and make it about those things versus the body in itself. Mm-hmm. It's recognizing that there's a correlation there, yes, but correlation doesn't mean causation. Actually, these issues might be because of what's going on up here. And if we were to focus on, okay, what can I do to improve my body shape, improve how I'm feeling, that's probably going to help you move forwards in all those other areas, even if you didn't see the body shape change overnight.
Yeah, it's like we don't want it to be at a cost or a sacrifice to like your overall health or, your relationships and things like that. I think another really good thing to start thinking about is about the positive affirmations. Yeah. And like, we won't lie, yes, if it can be something that's uncomfortable, it's not natural, but you do it continuously each day, whether it's just one thing. And then over the month, when you were to look back over your journal entries and you see those things that you've written down that you were believing at the time, because that's what's really important, then like when you're having a down day, you might think, well, do you know, actually, like a week ago, this was how I was feeling. And then maybe spot trends, is how you're feeling down to like changes in your hormone regulation. Like there could be like a fluctuation there with your hormones that is impacting you. That tool has really helped me understand, and then I prepare myself and I start thinking of things that I can do to help improve my mood. You know, I do also make changes to my diet to help with that. But you know, that's definitely helped me, is recognizing trends that may be inflicting your mood.
Yeah. And that could even be like looking at like, how's your sleep been? How much time have you spent on particular social media platforms? How much time have you spent around a particular person? You know, all these trends can have an impact on how we feel, and we might think they're minor at start, but they build up. Another tool that I've used a lot myself, not necessarily just with body image, but with thoughts, is Byron Katie's process called The Work. So she's got 4 questions that helps you question your thoughts. So it's not just changing the focus, but it helps you to question them and break them down a little bit. I would definitely suggest looking like on thework.com. There's loads of like resources on there that can really help you transform the way that you're thinking. And we sometimes do that deeper work with our clients where we get them questioning things differently, because, you know, like we said so many times already on our podcasts, your thoughts are true, they are valid. It's just how can we use them, or how can we move from them in order to serve ourselves and those around us, because ultimately a lot of us are doing it for other people as well.
Yeah, and it's important not to suffer in silence or on your own. You know, if you're feeling at the moment where it is literally taking over, it's preventing you from like perhaps living your life that you once loved, I would, you know, don't think that it's normal for you to be suffering, because that's not normal. Like, no. You know, whether this could be like that point where you're thinking, okay, what you said is like resonating, talk to someone, you know, professional, you know, just so you're not keeping it in, because that's not going to help you in any way.
Yes. And then flipping it from the other side, if you're somebody around someone who suffers with body image and they've made it clear to you, how have you got any tips for that?
We're actually having a recent conversation with a team member. Sorry, I felt it was delayed there, wasn't I? I think what's really important, one thing that I learned, and this was through with Ethan May when we were talking about help, is like you said about, you have to make sure that you're listening to someone, because if they're saying, I feel this way, and you're like, no, you don't. What you're actually doing there is you're not listening to them. You're not taking on their thoughts. So what's really important is to listen to their thoughts, and we have to accept it. But then you kind of have to show, okay, well, what can we do together to help you feel better? Because you can't take away how they're feeling about themselves. But what you can do is you can find action steps to do together that may over time help them feel better. And of course, you know, providing like them like with feel good factors, you know, give them compliments, but you have to remember they may not be used to the compliments, or they may dismiss it because at the moment they're not believing it. So it's like not forcing that. Yeah.
Another thing I think that can be good is asking questions, or in terms of how do we move forward, because a lot of the time people get stuck in the way that they're feeling and will allow that as a barrier, and it's like, okay, well, how do we move forward from that? What are you doing differently? And it's recognizing the person around you and how they'll respond to that is important, because some people may be very defensive of that, other people may be actually, this is what we could do to move forward. So it's a similar sort of approach. Cool. I don't think that was it. Have we missed anything else that we wanted to cover on that? No. I don't think so. We do have a question. Elly's going to play.
Hi guys, I love this podcast. What's one bit of advice you'd give to a busy parent trying to juggle the gym and guilt of not getting home right after work each day?
Okay, so how do we juggle the guilt of... we sort of covered this a little bit before, actually. Like, how do we juggle the guilt of like trying to fit the gym in and not rush home after work? And we have, and again, sorry guys, but men seem to find this a lot easier to just drop everything and get the gym workout in than women tend to, and that's just me generally speaking from working with thousands of people. But do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
You go first. I think I always go first, so I'll let you go first. Okay,
so I think the first thing I would do is involve the whole family in the decision-making process. I think that's really, really important. So if you're someone who's new and you're like, do you know what, I do want to get into the gym, I don't want to have any guilt, involve your family. So make them aware of the days that you're going to train, and then plan things on the other days where you might be a little bit late at home. That might help. And it's also then, if you've got your partner, make sure that your partner's getting equal time to train, so that then you support each other. We always say, like, raising a family is a team effort, and even if you're someone who's on your own with children, use your support network around you, because people do want to help. If it's going to help you feel physically and mentally better, there is so much people out there. You've probably got good close friends in a similar situation. Just take it in turns, look after your kid, their kids, and it works. We've got clients that have to juggle it that way.
Yeah, I definitely think that respect of each of your goals, like partner, is really important, and making that kind of like calendar appointment and put it in both your calendars so you both know like what the plan is. I think communication is always really key. I think when it comes to guilt, is what's really important is for you to know that you going to do a workout, for you to spend whether it's like 30 minutes on your own, is beneficial for you. So it's not selfish, it's selfless. And so then what happens then, think about like how good you feel after you've done a workout. Well, your loved ones are going to then receive you feeling really good about yourself, compared to if you're like missing your workout because you know that you're going to then feel bad if so you stay at home. But then over time, is that going to have a knock-on effect on your physical and emotional health? Is that then going to have a knock-on effect on your confidence? Is that going to have a knock-on effect on your moods, and so forth? And then who then gets the brunt of that? So it's really important to turn it around. We're not saying you have to go to we're only spending maximum 30 minutes on our workouts. You probably could get it done 20 minutes if you are short of time. I know some of our clients are spending 20 to 30 minutes because we make it fit their lifestyle. So it doesn't have to look at something that's going to take you away, but you're getting the best of both worlds. And I think it's really important to understand that when you're working towards your goals of you feeling good, everyone around you is going to benefit from that.
Yes. Another thing can be not everybody has to hit a gym. I think a lot of people see most fitness professionals, gym. Of course, it'd be ideal world everyone would hit a gym, but you can still, most people can get great results with a little bit of home-based equipment and a well thought out program, so that it doesn't mean you have to be away from the family. You could then be doing it, getting up a little bit earlier whilst the kids are still in bed and doing the workout. It's horses for courses and finding what works for you. But what we would say, don't feel the pressure of having to get to a gym. I would argue that nearly everybody doesn't need a gym as such, although we'd all benefit from being a member of one for some way, shape or form. I think it's not a necessity, and it's if you can't remove guilt and you can't move forward from the guilt of trying to find time to get to a gym,
you're not going to get the benefits. It's
not serving you. Let's step back. Let's see, okay, well, rather than me investing in a gym membership, could I invest in a little bit of kit at home and a coach, me and Elly, to help me do a well thought out home-based program that allows me to get up before the kids are up, do my workout, and then start my day. I don't know. That's the way that I would do it. We're going to round up there. As always, if you've got any questions, if you found this helpful, please do subscribe. Let us know what you found helpful down in the comments. We are looking for more questions. If you'd like to get your questions answered, please do send us a little selfie video. Doesn't have to be nothing complex, 10, 15 seconds. What question you want answered, and we'll be trying to answer a question every single podcast.
No, yeah, definitely. And I think I just wanted to quickly just finish on with the subject of body image. I think we could have continued to talk more so. And so if there's more that you would like to know when it comes to body image or our own stories or things like that, feel free to message us, comment on the video, and we can go into a part 2 of it. Because I just want to make sure that we have covered everything, because I think we could have gone down different avenues to help.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheesy wave.